It's possible that the Indiana Fever just made the biggest error in WNBA history. For it, they could have to spend millions of dollars. Nobody is discussing what's going on behind the scenes, which is far more explosive. Think about this. Finally, a rookie from a different generation joins your group. She breaks ratings records overnight, sells out arenas that have been empty for years, and makes your team important again. Music. What is the answer, then? No one seemed to be questioning why you kept bending her. This will astound you. So let's start with the money. Although Caitlin Clark is expected to earn $11 million this year, her $78,000 WNBA salary accounts for less than 1% of the total. She makes more money from a single Instagram post than she does from a month of sickness. Over the course of 8 years, Nike paid $28 million to sign her. She is treated like a queen by Allen Gatorade State Farm. Wilson even gave her a special phrase related to basketball, music. Even though she couldn't stay healthy for more than 3 games in a row due to the fever, every company you can think of has open wallets. In terms of health, isn't that peculiar? Throughout her time in college, Caitlin never missed a game. She played through discomfort and dominated every night at Iowa for 4 consecutive years. However, she has frequently been excluded from the professional ranks due to sudden, inexplicable groin issues. The impact is evident, whether it's due to misfortune or something more significant happening behind the scenes. After her comeback, she played 6 games and shot just 4 for 12, shooting less than 30% overall and just 14% from 3. But no one is talking about this section. She continues to provide more than 9 assists each game on average. She is helping this team succeed and getting more bench time even though she is in a slump and has one arm tied behind her back. Things became worse off the court. As if the court wasn't already full of drama. A 55-year-old stalker who came to Indianapolis while believing they were dating and sent hundreds of unsettling texts to Caitlin was recently given a prison sentence. Music. She had to alter her public persona in order to feel safer because things had become so horrible. Here's the crazy thing though. It seems that even he values her more than the therapy for the illness. Tickets are much more expensive when Caitlin is performing. In the secondary market, $1,200. During her absence, they drop by 40% overnight. It's not a downturn, but a financial freefall. After she declared she couldn't play, tickets for even the All-Star game, which was held in her home stadium, fell from $121 to $72. The Indiana front office is acting as though they have no idea that real money is being removed from the building. And it gets worse just when you believe it can't get much worse. The coach sent to make everything right, Stephanie White, enters. However, it appears that she is more interested in making Caitlin look awful than in allowing her to be herself. The viral moment from last week said it all. During a timeout, White urged Caitlin to get out of the coach's chair in front of everyone. The message was quite clear. Recognize your job, novice. Avoid becoming too cozy. This team is under our leadership, not yours. White continues to preach about the broad picture and long-term wellness. Interpretation. You've grown so large that we're scared. Why else would you keep an eye on a physically fit 23-year-old when she starts to become hot? Why would you remove her from the game? Why make her alter the precise type of play that buys jerseys and packs arenas? It seems to be a continual reminder. Others have the power, even if you are the star. The worst part, though, is this. While Indiana is engaged in small-scale power struggles, Caitlin is covertly building something much larger. An empire that doesn't even require them. Music. She is not only well-liked but also a representative of women's basketball. She garnered more votes for All-Star Captain than any other player in the league, with over 1.2 million. Her suggestions are more valuable than the salaries of entire teams. She could buy and sell half of the WNBA tomorrow if she so desired. However, the Fever seems to suggest that she would benefit from sitting on the bench. This is where things get crazy since I have insider information. When Caitlin becomes a free agency in 2027, a number of teams are already setting up cap space for her. The New York Liberty are prepared to provide her a maximum contract in addition to any marketing arrangement. There are Las Vegas Aces all around Manhattan. They would most likely rename a casino in her honor and have a lavish gala. International teams in Europe are debating 2 seven-figure incomes. Offers from crazy Chinese people could involve team ownership. Ice Cube also tried to court her by making a $5 million Big Three offer. She has more choices than a buffet in Vegas. Here, too, the fever has passed. Pretending that she should be appreciative of the food that was left. The persistent joke of the league. Indiana switched from using inexpensive planes that paid for water to overnight private jet travel because of a single player. Moreover, they engage in power struggles that make reality TV seem insignificant rather than defending her. It's like complaining about taxes after winning the lotto. Are you wondering how awful things have gotten? While Caitlyn is chastised for taking one contested three, players who go 2 for 14 are commended for maintaining their confidence. The go-ahead is always granted to veterans who cannot access the ocean from the beach. However, the team's greatest shooter in history is instructed to wait patiently. Referees are shaking their heads because the double standard is so blatant, and this should infuriate every fan. Music. WNBA players, on the other hand, only receive 9% of the league's earnings. NBA players receive half. What happens when Caitlyn arrives? Boosts attendance by 40% and raises shop sales by 500%. They are doing everything they can to get her to go. The funniest thing is that Fever management genuinely believes they are in charge of this situation. They believe that Caitlyn needs them more than they do. They are completely mistaken if they believe she needs them more than they need her. At just 23 years old, Caitlyn Clark has a net worth of about $5 million. Long after she hangs up her jersey, she will have endorsements that will safeguard her future. If she started the Penguin Basketball League, her devoted fan base would travel with her to Antarctica. Music. Every Indianapolis employer ought to shudder when they hear this song. 86% of supporters responded negatively when asked if they would still support the Fever if Caitlyn left. It goes beyond simple loyalty. It's an obsession. That's not a fan base. That army is on the move. The name on the front prevented these people from purchasing Fever tees. Because of the name on the back, they purchased these. And consider what transpired in Connecticut during the postseason if you believe I'm overstating the stress she endures. They said that Caitlyn was accidentally struck in the eye by Jonah Carrington. Carrington became defensive when reporters questioned him about it, and the Suns' management attempted to persuade the media to remove it. Caitlyn experiences that degree of jealousy every night. The saddest aspect is that she won't even have the support of her own squad. The figures are correct. 1 million people watch the games when Caitlyn is playing. They struggle to reach 200,000 without her. She was essentially in charge of ESPN's WNBA coverage. When she's not playing, interest in her on social media decreases by 70%. She serves as the league's marketing department in addition to being a player. The discourse quickly wanes without her. Music. At this point, the temperature is becoming frightening. Rumor has it that Caitlyn is already considering leaving Indianapolis, according to close friends and family. The frequent injuries, the strange coaching choices, and the management's lack of support are all getting worse. She changed from being the league's most vulnerable superstar to an iron woman who never missed a game while in college. Furthermore, music. A lot of people are beginning to question what is actually happening in this situation. The most absurd part is that because of the Fever, this issue might be fixed tomorrow. Anyone who doesn't know what they own should be fired. Instead of making Caitlyn use an antiquated, ineffective system, coaches should be brought in, unite the entire team behind her, give her the franchise's keys, and watch the money pour in. However, they won't. Music. Because in Indianapolis, ego is more important than economics. The story is told by the statistics. Cities that attract talent from all generations either create dynasties or become cautionary stories. The Fever is currently racing along the second route. They are on the verge of becoming the team that abused the biggest star in women's basketball history and lost Caitlyn Clark. Whispers reach my ears. Recall that this is also where you first heard it. Caitlyn's team is already looking into the concepts. In order for her to have a place to settle that truly loves her when the time comes, not tomorrow or next season, they are venturing into uncharted terrain, establishing connections in other marketplaces, and creating the foundation. It is almost poetry in its irony. 4 years, the Indiana Fever performed in front of empty stadiums, pleading for attention because they were so in need of it. Then Caitlin Clark suddenly collapses onto their lap. A once-in-a-generation celebrity with the power to transform everything, a gift from the basketball gods. Caitlin Clark won't be sporting a Fever shirt in 2 years. I promise that she will be performing for people who genuinely want her to succeed in New York, Vegas, or possibly even abroad, earning 3 times as much money as Indiana could ever hope to. In an instant, the Fever will be reduced to a footnote in basketball history, half-empty venues, and insignificance. The worst part comes next. The whole catastrophe could have been avoided. All they needed to do was keep things simple, let Caitlin be herself, pay the checks, and make her the star of the brand. Rather, they have created a masterclass on how to sabotage a fantastic chance. Business schools will study this type of collapse for decades to come. Treating a $100 million athlete like she's on minimum salary will soon have an impact on the Fever. Caitlin Clark does not require the Indiana Fever. When the circus departs town and takes all of the ticket buyers with it, they will at last understand what they had and what they lost. She didn't. But they needed her for a brief, beautiful time. They shoved her out the door rather than taking it. Is this the biggest error in WNBA history, in your opinion? Click like.